The start of the 2020-21 season is fast approaching. An elite coach, Ryan Hopper, is putting the lads through their paces.
Play! Cam, can you get the second face to me, please? Get the second face to me, play! Outline, one touch!
One of the best things that we have with the likes of Ryan Hopper and Keno and Karthik and myself and Yan and everybody, like the specific coaches, is that it gives them a little bit of a different outlook on the game. If they need something a lot more technical, they can go see Ryan Hopper.
Training the likes of Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United, Ryan has worked with some of the best players in England.
Reckon you score a volley?
Just a volley.
You score a goal again.
As much as team-based training is a big plus, I mean, you get the tactical knowledge, you get all of that. Working on a one-to-one basis with someone like RH who's worked with the very best, I mean, these are elite players we're talking about that he's worked with. It's bound to make a difference, and you can see that.
Oh yes, Adam! Ryan's such a good coach, and Ryan offers something different to any of us that we have on the coaching staff. It's a fresh idea, a fresh look at them, and this is a perk for the players. This is something that they get which is just about them. This isn't about the team. No one mentions tactics. This is getting you better as a footballer. Hopper does that. Yes, the keeper having fatigue tonight. Let's play. Good. We've got one. Last round. Touch. What a save! Wonderful save number 2. Keeper, brilliant. Let's play. Good. That's good film value.
Following on from training with Ryan, Stretford Paddock faced their first ever competitive league match against Bury Amateurs. It's a game that the team are eager to hit the ground running with.
When we came up against Bury, we didn't know what we were expecting. We didn't know what we were up against. It was a whole new challenge. We couldn't look at film, we couldn't look at whatever to see what they were about.
It was good to get the first league game played. It's real now. We've got games, we've got fixtures, we've got opponents. It matters now. These aren't friendlies. These scores are getting recorded and being published and will be scrutinised against them. Quick tactical overview, you know the shape, yeah? Basic 4-3-3, single pivot, right? You get what you're doing. Reza, this is you. Yeah. You two, where I is Cam and Jay. Yeah. I want you to drop in and make it a real tight midfield, especially when we're playing out from the back. The target, as we're trying to get over the halfway line, is try and get it into the feet of Ronaldo or Louis, yeah? That's what we want to do. We want them guys crossing the halfway line with the box at their feet. And I want these guys to then get a 2v1 against the opposition fullbacks. That is the whole aim of our attack today.
Well, as we went into it, I don't think it was wrong for us to feel that confident. I think we did the work, and when you put in that kind of work, you're right to feel confident in what you're doing.
Understand?
First ball, our ball, second ball, our ball, header, our ball, yeah? No 50-50s getting backed out, look.
I want the centre halves to play deeper, because he's got a bit of a kick, and all they're going to do is keep pumping it along. We don't want them. He's against the wind. Yeah. You've seen it hold up? Oh, but they can move into it. Do you get me? If it's over them and they're facing their own goal.
Most of us do live together, so I suppose there's a lot more easier things for communication because I can just go chat to one of them, knock on the door and swing an idea by them or whatever.
Yeah, it is brilliant how it's worked out. I mean, working with Pete, it's fantastic because he's a great coach.
Josh!
Me and Pete have a great relationship. Obviously, when we're planning sessions, it's easy because it's not a case of where I have to ring him up or arrange a meeting. I can just walk downstairs and he's there for me to go and speak to him.
Yes, lads, let's go! Boys, let's go! Straight again!
In terms of the dynamic, because we're all friends, it's actually a little bit hard at times to be or act or say how I would in other situations if they weren't my friends.
Corner! Mo, come back! Get in. Yes! Okay, yes!
Run again, Adam! Run, that's you! Yes, run!
He's finished that!
That's a fucking great challenge. That's a good tackle, that.
It's going to be a penalty.
Brett! Yes!
Come on.
Number 3! Number 4! Hey, Jay, stop it, you! Hey, these are going to go home after this. Hey, come on, lad, hey! Come on, lad, hey! Lad, keep focusing. I want number 4. I want number 4 and number 5.
Ronnie's staying away from it.
Hey, Paddock on again! Yeah!
Is he okay? Not moving. Ask him. Come on.
Hey! There we go.
Fuck me. Hey. That takes pressure off.
Come on! Yes, on! Hey! Yeah! Yeah!
That is the problem.
First one in the bag, lad.
Adam.
The first league game, I don't know if I enjoyed during it. I feel every kick, every tackle, every run. But I did savour it afterwards. I did enjoy a beer after the game to celebrate our first win.
Make sure you can see Josh behind.
Everyone saw it. The ball came in.
Nice job. Well done, lads. Yay. Okay, thank you. Superb. Thanks very much. Well played. Cheers, Gam.
After clinching their first 3 points away, attention now turns to getting Stretford Paddock ready for the first home game of the campaign. The Butchers Arms, home of Droylsden FC, will prove to be Paddock's home venue for the season.
I've seen many things written about myself and this project and how it's a vanity project. You know, I was there painting myself. The gloss red paint stained for weeks. This isn't anything vanity. This is something I care deeply about. Droylsden is a place I care deeply about, and it's a club I care deeply about. And I wanted it to look its best before our first game, before the media day, and I wanted it to represent what I feel this club represents. It needed a clean-up. It had been dormant for a while, obviously because of lockdown and Droylsden retiring from the league, and it needed a little bit of a spruce up. I don't mind getting my hands dirty to do that, and Janine's fantastic. She's all about the football club as well, and she got in there and got stuck in. We had a couple of the players come down and help us, and then obviously when players saw it at media day, they saw how good the pitch was, how good the surface was. I think they was getting as giddy and as excited as we all had been.
It excited me. It really excited me. I think a lot of people would have been excited by it, but it's how you control that excited feeling, whether you turn it into nervous energy, concentrated energy, or whatever you do with it. I think everybody felt a certain way about it. I'd just seen it as a new way to perform, a new place to sort of establish as the home ground.
It was a great feeling because I've never coached in a proper stadium before, and seeing obviously the main stand, I could just picture, walking out and having fans there, and I was thinking, this is mad. A club like this, so early in our journey, having a facility like this and being able to play our football here.
I was optimistic about the De La Salle game, but I still had that burning thought in the back of my head of, you know, we've got to earn a win. We can't just diddy-daddle and get away with things anymore.
Basically play your game because they're coming to you. So this pitch suits you. This is our home ground, so we need to treat it like a fortress.
I'd like to think it wouldn't get to me if I was a player or as a coach. I was trying to take everything in my stride, and if there's a big challenge or a big platform, you've got to step up to it.
But for me personally, it got to me when we stepped out there, but as soon as that whistle went, it was straight back to coaching and focusing on the game.
Take your standards, fellas, you keep from model. Good stuff.
3-0 to the Paddock.
3-1.
I say 3-1. I say 3-1.
A Cam Waters equaliser means the teams go into the break even at half time, and there must be an improvement in the second half to claim the win.
If you want, give them that. Give them that. Sit down.
Yeah.
Sit down, tell them that. Let these talk for 2 minutes.
Do you want to go in the other room?
Yeah.
Thank you.
When they've got the ball at the back, from the side they're showing press.
When you got it,
Stand up, we can't press.
The fact of the matter, yeah, because they can put all these papers and shit on there. It's us that fucking play, but just because they're saying, oh, do this and do that, bro, you're on the ball or you're off the ball, make the movement and make the decision.
We have to talk to each other on the pitch. And we need to get Jay further forward, because otherwise we've got one ball over the top and we've got no chance of getting there.
What went wrong, lads?
Overplaying, too many touches.
Maybe. Space is out, right?
No.
Cam, Jay, when you lot are coming in, that's when we start initiating the one-touch football.
Lads, 1 minute. So, for the first half an hour of the first half, I'm going to challenge you to go 3 touches till we get to the final
Thank the Lord. I said this 20 minutes in.
3
I said it to Mo, I said it to everyone. Like, you lot 3 touches.
Yeah.
It's not a training game though, so if you do, if like,
Right,
don't be like, oh, I want to, oh, shit.
Where you can.
But Cam, you have killed us though sometimes. You slow it down on you too often.
Bow. What? Can you see the bottles? Bow, bow, bow. Yeah. Cam, me, you. If I say spin,
You come out of there, one of us will come in.
yeah, and then Cam does that.
You don't run out of
You do
position.
that. You take his position. Cam, come and do the spin. And you run behind on detail.
Lads, we'll have a bit more of a look at doing this as well. Where we drop in here, we feed them the ball, we lay it off, wingers get narrow and we attack. Couple times that's worked for us, alright, but it's just not clicked quite well.
Right? You got the goal back and you've got us on level terms. Johnny's bailed us out of shit twice, right? We should have been 2-0 down coming into it, right? But we're not. It's fucking 1-1 and it's level fucking pegging again. This second half, we enter the fucking pitch and you fucking have them, yeah? Aggression, talk, get in their fucking faces, press in the midfield, compress them and get on their fucking touches and they bottle it. Right,
What's what happens?
They're going to come up for
Go out for war, lads, yeah?
They're going to try
No
and
time. Give them no time. Get right in the face.
Run it, no. Keep doing the switching if you want. Go wide, come narrow. Go wide, come narrow. Yeah. Be in the fucking mixer and let's have them. Right.
Our first home league game was our first home game period. We deliberately kept all pre-season friendlies away from home. One, to make it a little bit harder for ourselves, as you know, we deliberately chose really tough fixtures because we wanted to find out where our weaknesses were. We wanted to find out where the edge of our comfort zone was. There's no point us just playing teams we're going to beat. We wanted to figure out who we were, what we were about. And I think delaying that gratification of getting that first home game, it did make it a bit more special. And like, I think it'd be something I remember forever, to be honest. Like, there was a decent crowd there, certainly a crowd Drozen would have been happy with, that had turned up to watch us, and scoring a last minute winner. It doesn't get better than that, does it? It couldn't have gone much perfect. I didn't think we played particularly well, but I'll take it.
Nairobi is one of the coaches, he doesn't live with us. He had the COVID scare, so we had to isolate. Fortunately, we hadn't seen him in that time frame, so we didn't have to isolate. As soon as he was back, our centre-back, Will Howson, got the virus, who was on a night out with Nairobi the night before he found out, I think. So that was another COVID scare. We hadn't been round Will, luckily, in that past week or two either, so unfortunately, again, we didn't have to isolate. Then somebody from our uni got coronavirus and we were advised by the university to isolate. I had the symptoms, so when I got a test, I tested negative, which means because university had it's not a law for us to isolate, they suggested we did. I went about my life outside of university. Then unfortunately, we then got the call that Steve had the virus, and I hadn't seen Steve in that week or two either. So then you link it all back together, and there was about 5 weeks where I think I have 4 corona scares. I have 4 corona tests as well, but won 4-0 luckily.
And we got the message possibly 3 days before a game that we had to go get tested and self-isolate. And it was the first time I'd really come into contact with anyone who's had it. It was quite scary because you don't realise how many people it can affect until someone you know has got it.
When the guy at the front isn't steering, someone else has to pick it up. The effect of Steve not being there, you know, especially from my point of view, I think that he brings a big confidence to a lot of the players. And I think he brings a little bit of a confidence and reassurance to us coaches and what we're doing. So with him not being there on a game day, there's some of the players might not feel as motivated as they would be, but us as coaches, we just had to step it up and try our best to make the players feel comfortable. But it did have an effect of not being there. It definitely did.
The absence of Steve was felt in the pre-match because obviously I think his best quality is his team talks. I think he gets the message across really well. Players listen to him very well, and he can really rile up a team when needed. And I think maybe that energy was missed. That's not to say Pete didn't do a good job with this team talk. I thought he hit the nail on the head with whatever he said that day.
A win against Signal Old Boys in match week 3 means Paddock have 3 wins from 3, but go into the game against Hadfield without manager Stephen and club captain Martin Parker after sustaining injury in the previous game. Parker is now going to have to sit out the next 6 weeks.
It was very, very, very frustrating. It's when I've built this club, it feels very personal, and I take every lost draw, lost ball, throw-in, foul, I take it personally.
It's a disappointing game, a disappointing result because I don't think we deserve to lose that.
We had opportunities to win that game and we didn't take them.
For the amount of chances that we had, very, very disheartening. For the lads, really disheartening as well because they really put a shift in that game.
Not winning the last two definitely was a reality check. I think the 3 out of 3 record might have got to us a little bit, and maybe given us a sense of overconfidence, a bit of complacency to say, well, this league, we're doing well in it, and we're near the top of the league, and we're one of the better sides. But as we quickly noticed, there's no difference between the sides here.
So we were top of the league, 3 games in, undefeated, with problems. We're top of the league with problems. That's a good sign. That means we're getting the results and the performance can be better. But if we're top of the league and we're already getting the results, then that means we've got good things to work on. When we drew and when we lost, we took it in our stride and we learnt from it and we got better from it. And because of that loss, because of that draw, we understood that we're not going to walk this league. Nobody's going to walk this league. It's going to be tight the whole way through. And that took pressure off us from being the top performers, from being the team to beat, from being the team from YouTube that everybody wants to kick about and everything. It took pressure away from that. We're just another competitor in the league. It's not a one-horse race. It's Saturday League football. Throughout the season, we're going to be on top, we're going to drop, we're going to be on top, we're going to drop. That's the nature of the game. So throughout the summer, we trained in a park, just a normal grass pitch park, and that's okay. That's where a lot of our games will take place. But as the summer stops and the nights start getting darker and darker, and we're asking players, oh, can you get to training for 5? Most people don't finish work till 5:30. Us coaching staff and everything researched around Manchester for a 3G pitch that we could play on a floodlit pitch. Didn't care if it was grass, if it was 3G, whatever, just wanted to be able to see. That wasn't doable.
One of the issues of the pandemic, in Manchester especially, is it's had an impact on facilities. Now, playing facilities in Manchester are not as readily available as you would hope or expect. They're certainly expensive for those that are available, but even with no budgeting issues, we spoke to 43 different facility providers and we managed to get 9 till 10 on a Monday and 8 till 9 on a Friday.
We've got 2 big squads with a lack of training space. So for example, we have got a session on a Friday where we've got just over half a pitch, and it's a nightmare because half of it's not lit up, half of it is, and it's about which squad gets that pitch, which team gets a pitch, and it's like mine and Steve's squads, we both have our needs.
There wasn't a single 3G floodlit pitch in the entirety of Manchester for us to use. 1 training session a week, that's all we wanted. We couldn't find it. It took us weeks. We eventually did find it. We get an hour on it. 2/3 of a pitch and we get an hour on it. Not even a full pitch. 2/3 of a pitch, we get an hour. I've got 18 in my squad. Ruby's got 18 in his squad.
Well, I mean, everybody's in the same position. Everybody wants to play football, train, and most often they want to train at the same time after working hours when everybody's actually free to do so. So between lack of facilities available, number of people trying to book at the same time, it just becomes a bit impossible.
The FA have done an incredible job funding different variants of football, from the women's game to the facility factors of grassroots football. Now, with the facility factors of grassroots football, they've invested 250 million into it. A lot of it's been the regeneration of 3G and 4G pitches, not making new ones. The facilities that hurt most is the ones that you see in your local parks. How many are floodlit? None. How many are waterlogged? A lot of them. How many have a rusty goalpost? Nearly all of them.
It's not good enough, especially when you have lots of grassroots clubs. They can be the centre of their communities. Football's a working class sport, you know, and these are kids
these are teenagers, these are adults, and sometimes their football is kind of their only escape from really the real world. And actually seeing clubs get shut down and stuff like that, mainly because they've not got a lot of funding, it doesn't sit right with me really. And they need help, you know. They need help from central government. They need help from the FA. And I feel like sometimes grassroots kind of gets pushed to the sides so we can fund our Premier League teams and whatnot.
How is the FA helping develop grassroots football in England? Now, you look at our weather compared to a lot of other countries, it's very different. Tell me why Spain develop a lot of tactical players, same with Italy, same with France even, and their weather's not even that different from ours. They develop so many good, tactically good and technically good players. My biggest belief is that because of the poor quality of the pitches we have in England, it produces this long ball, route 1, 4-4-2 football, because it's hard to pass the ball around. It affects the game, it affects the British culture's game of football and how a lot of Saturday League and Sunday League teams play. I've got nothing against the long ball tactic, we do it sometimes, but I feel for the development of grassroots football in England, if the facilities change, everything else changes.
I think there's a proven correlation between accessible grassroots football and the facilities available to players and how often they can access them to how well a national team does in future years. We've seen it in Belgium. They revamped their whole playing pathway, but also how people could access 3G, 4G pitches. Netherlands, it's the same thing. There's about 2,000 4G pitches, I think I read the other day, across such a small country. Germany, even more. And these are countries that produce player after player. Whereas England, we're starting to see that they're starting to produce, same in Wales, same in Scotland. But as this is happening, there's still issues with funding into grassroots. And now with all the lockdowns and the pandemic, it seems to be going backwards. The Premier League, which is supposed to be the top league in the world, but if they can't produce the talent and the players don't come through the academies, they won't be able to sustain themselves as the #1 competition worldwide.
Manchester's a football city, but you try and make a football team in Manchester, you'd think it'd be easy. You think I'd have the pick of places. You think I'd be able to just rock up somewhere, go, I'd like to use your facility, please, and they go, no problem. But they're fully booked, which tells me there's not enough. There's not enough choice, there's not enough scope, there's not enough quality. There's just not enough 3 and 4G pitches in Manchester. Now, I don't know where this club's going to end up. I don't know what the next 5 years looks like for us. But there's no way we could survive as a football club unless we either get a very good relationship with someone and find some affordable 3 or 4G pitches, or somehow build our own.
Playing in a stadium is a privilege. It really is a privilege. To have fans come and watch us is a privilege. To put a shirt on in a proper changing room is a privilege. To warm up on a nicely cut pitch where it's not bobbly, that's a grass pitch, is an absolute privilege. And it's a wonderful, wonderful occasion for all the players and staff and everything to have people turn up to watch us do something that we love doing. That's great. When we went to the school, it's still great for me, at least, but it's not the same tingly feeling you get in a stadium.
Due to the changing landscape of COVID rules, Paddock are forced to find an alternative venue to fulfil the fixture against Moston Brook. No win in the last 2 means 3 points is a must to keep pressure on the teams pushing for the top spot.
Yes, come! Yes, come! Fuck me! Come back out! Hey! Look around! Ref, you taking the piss! Fuck off! Ref, you just getting this!
It's heartbreak for Paddock, who, after coming from 2 goals behind, concede late on.
No win in 3 is not a record that anyone wants to have, and that gets corrected through lots of analysis.
We had to change the momentum, we had to change the motivation, we had to change what we were doing as a squad on the whole. We worked on a couple different things that I thought would give the players a bit of a buzz.
We're trying to imprint into them in training the need for us to start strong, the need for us to concentrate. We find ourselves completely dominant in games and then concede to a stupid goal and be under the cosh. That's happened almost every single game this season. These are just some of the intangibles that are probably going to have to be worked out. Kinks that we have to just figure out. This is one of the consequences of a new team, a new coaching staff, and a bit of a high turnover of players at the moment as we figure out who we actually are. If you look at the transition of our very first match, pre-season friendly, which was only a few months ago, against Duckingfield, to the first league game, to the last league game, the difference in the starting 11 is vast. The difference in the style of play is vast. You can see the evolution from that first game. You can see that we're still trying the same things, but the results are different. The outcomes are different. I think we've scored every type of goal. It looks like Jay's getting on the most of them, but the goals are spread around amongst a few players at the moment. And I think as we look towards the new year, I do expect there's going to be a lot more goals coming in.
Yeah, so after the 3 poor results, it was about time we sort of kicked into gear again. And after a lot of hard work through analysis and training, we wanted to not just end on a high note going into a potential lockdown, but try and start a new run of form.
And I will fucking be using it. Let's empty the tank when it comes to work rate. Dens, Luke, first 10 minutes, let's do what we did last week. Let's keep it safe. Maybe don't go on past the halfway line if you can. After 10 minutes, when we've got them gassed and we've got them blowing, we'll absolutely fuck them. Keep it tight in midfield free, let's look for that. Let's be offside Ronaldo at goal kicks. Outside of that, set pieces is all we need to think about. Work it for 2v1s in the final third, get some shots off. Don't be afraid to hit it.
One 0, you're always in it. 2-0 early on, you've got 2 options. You get spanked, or you get back into it. I don't need to tell my guys what option I want them to do.
Now it's fine. Midfield, if you want to gamble, Ronnie, I need you to be alert on this. Be side on, be thinking. Any time that you think it's on for a dink, if that line steps up at all, let's put it over for Ronnie to chase, yeah? He ain't getting caught. Kira, if you want to gamble and fucking get on the back end of them as well, I think you've got the wheels to get in there too.
Gamble 6 times.
Guys, keep fucking gambling.
2 goals there. Great bits of play, by the way, mate. I had free-touch football. That's what we need to do. You can't run with the ball on him. Every chance we've had free-touch football. Well, we give it to Gabby, we give it to Jay, we go in behind. If you try and run on it,
this
game's simple.
Final third, that release has to be so much quicker because we've had chances where we can slice them through, yeah? If that opening comes up, let's limit them touches, get there quick, when we're in the final third, quick release, get a shot. Get the ball! With him! Hey, look, well done! Well done! Let's go, check back in for me! You won that! You won that! Head up! Luke, well done! What a fucking goal that was, though.
Huh?
What a fucking goal that was.
Started there from the tackle, not giving up on it. 3 touch until it went to Rocky. Adam dragging people out with the great run.
Hey, Rocky, take on his weak side. Hey, Rocky, fucking brilliant for this lad.
An inspired Paddock victory brings a run of 3 games without a win to an end. This would prove to be Paddock's last game before a second national lockdown.
I know.
Let's be honest with ourselves, that could have been 7 or 8, couldn't it? Yeah. Should we have made it 7 or 8? Yeah. Okay, so we know that we can do it. But when we turn it on like that, where we're in the position to put 6 or 7 past someone, I want us to fucking do it next time. Oh no, what happened the first half? I'm going to have to watch it all back. Shit, first 20 minutes. We got over that really fast though. Today, you've set yourselves a standard.
Lads, I'm well happy with the fight back from 2-0 down. For starters though, we should not be going down 2-0 to those. What I think today's shown us is that there's a level of fitness that we have which is generally unmatched in this league. We have to start setting tempos where other teams just get fucking out of breath trying to deal with us. And that starts from the first minute. The quicker that we can exhaust the team, the quicker it starts looking like that, and it's easy for half an hour, 40 minutes of a second half. This has to be a thing now. We set ourselves a target of being champions of this, didn't we? Have you seen anything in this league where you go, nah, or do you go, no, are we the best team in this league? Right. Well, the best team in this league gets consistent and gets playing football. Well done, lads.
I've got some highlight reels to put together on
Someone got my Vic.
Well done, man.
Oh, like that, yeah. It's that one there, yeah. I don't know why I didn't take another touch inside. I don't know why I ended up taking
Couple
a
of
shot
them, I
into
just
the
didn't
box.
realise why you didn't get him in the back of the net.
Just being greedy.
Even the first one, you won't remember. The scramble in the box. The ball.
We have
The last game at Rolston, where you had 1-on-1 and you just didn't shoot.
You know what it is? I always try and make
Even your mum's disappointed that you didn't score. She is, look, she hates you.
Why didn't you take the pen? You're Ronaldo.
I thought Oki was taking it.
You're Ronaldo, you should be taking it.
Oki won the pen, I thought you'd take it. Look up, he's not taking it.
Giving it to Jay to get
Golden boot at the end, about 3 on the ball.
Jay just wanted it so he can go higher up on the goal scoring chart.
Chase you down.
Am I the only one that
Yeah, did you not see it? After he scored, he was there like,
He's 6.
If we could have went on a roll of a few weeks of that, because we had great momentum after that game, and with the country going into what looked like another lockdown, it was another lockdown, it was great to get that win. It was really important to get that win as well.
Everywhere that we've been and everything that we've done up to now needed doing. This is a story that doesn't have an end. It's a roadmap without a road. But there's reflective things you can look back on and chapters that you can say are closed. The creation of the team and getting people to training, that might have been a chapter. The next chapter would have been our pre-season training, the acceptance into a league, and the commencement of competition. That's another chapter. The chapter we've just been through, we played our first league match. We opened up our stadium. We've been in the newspaper. We've had different people write things about this new football team. We've introduced ourselves to the people of Droylsden as a football team, who some of them have come and watched the journey so far. We've added more players to the squad once they've seen what we're about. This is another chapter. All of the things that have just happened, including a second lockdown, and let's be honest, there's a third and possibly a fourth on the way, I'm sure. All of these things had to go through. We had to experience all of these things to get to where we're going to next. It's all right setting targets and goals even without fully understanding and knowing where we're going to be as a football club and as an organisation in 2, 3, 4, 5 years' time. We had to go through these things that we've just been through. Some of them were a wake-up call. Some of them were a reality check. Some of them just needed to be experienced. We had to lose our first game. We had to have our first home game, our first away game. You've now seen our name on a league table. For all the people ridiculing the start of what this football club was about, maybe not even understanding what this football club was about, I don't think they're laughing anymore. I think people are taking us as seriously as we take ourselves. And I don't mean that in, I don't think we take ourselves too seriously, but we're here to compete. This isn't a frivolous project. This isn't something that's we're going to do for a year and then move on to the next project. Stretford Paddock is here to stay. We're here to compete, and we're here to do it in a Stretford Paddock way. What that way looks like, we don't really know yet. But the next chapter is going to be fun. The next chapter, I want to see us set some standards, set some targets, achieve that. If we can go on an unbeaten run, we could really start to show what we're about. And I believe this team's capable of more than we've shown so far. And we're still right in and around the mix at the top of the league. I'm excited for what's next.